Hey everyone, it may actually be beginning. It may actually be happening. I was about to go to bed and then I decided I'm just going to check the news one more time. And that's why I'm kind of already getting ready to end the day. But I have to make this video because I saw what's happening, some of the news coming out of Iran today of what we have been waiting for. And I pointed this out. We've been waiting to see if there will be defections from the IRGC. One of the big problems with the whole idea of regime change and taking out the top leadership or finding some people at the top who can hold it together is that, as I pointed out, the IRGC is a large number of people. It's a large force. And a lot of those people at the lower levels, we assume, are very ideological. And therefore, the real sign that there could really be regime change is if we start to see some of the lower ranks breaking ranks and dropping their weapons and surrendering and basically defecting from the Besiege or the IRGC. And there are now finally reports coming in that some of that is beginning. And this is the thing to watch, because the military defeat of Iran, I mean, no, they're still lobbing some rockets, but the military defeat of Iran is already a fait accompli. That's done. They're still being a bit of a nuisance. But the whole question now is, does the regime actually fall? Now, so let's take a look at what's going on. But before we do that, please make sure to go to Israel365charity.com, Israel365charity.com. There is a campaign there, Israel Under Fire, and we're really helping a lot of families who've been affected by the Iran war. There's people who have lost family members, there's young mothers whose husbands are away on reserve duty. There are families that are suffering in terms of daycare, PTSD, lots of issues. And Israel 365 is in touch with charities that are dealing with a lot of these different situations and making sure that money gets into the hands of the right people. So please go ahead and go to Israel365charity.com and support what we are doing there. All right, let's get to this massive story. So we're going to start with a Hebrew video, a 1-minute video in Hebrew with subtitles. I'll summarize it after it plays. I know I got a complaint last time I played a Hebrew video from someone who said he just listens and therefore the subtitles don't help him so much. Sorry about that, but it's the easiest way to do this. All right, let's take a look.
כן, מגי, תראה, אנחנו ביום ה-11 למבצע, ותמיד השאלה שנשאלת זה מתי נראה את העריקות האלה מצבא איראן ומשמרות המהפכה, מהלך שבאמת יכול לסייע לעם לצאת לרחובות ובאמת לנצח ולעשות המהפכה באיראן. והיום אנחנו מפרסמים לראשונה שנראים ניצנים. גורם שמקורב למשמרות המהפכה, ששוחחתי איתו מוקדם יותר, מספר לי. יש גל עריקות בדרגים נמוכים במשמרות המהפכה, בעיקר במפקדות שממוקמות מחוץ לטהרן. מי שיש לו כסף נמלט מהמדינה בדרך קרקעית. בתוך הארגון שורר פחד שאם המשטר ישרוד יבוא בחשבון עם הפעילים, למרות החיסול של חמינאי, שום דבר לא מצליח לזעזע את המשטר האיראני. אנחנו רואים שיש את העריקות האלה בדרגים נמוכים מאוד, דבר שלא באמת משפיע, אבל בעיקר שורר פחד במשטר האיראני, אצל אותם פעילים שהם אומרים, במידה ולא נצליח להפיל את המשטר הזה, מה יקרה איתנו ועם המשפחות שלנו ביום הבא? וזה בסוף מה שמסמל עכשיו באיראן. הרבה פחד והרבה מעצורים בעקבות אותו פחד.
Okay, so that's Dror Balazadeh. Dror Balazadeh is he's fluent in Persian. He's an Israeli expert on Iran. He covers Iran very closely, and he's very well sourced with a lot of people on the ground in there. And some of his reporting over the last couple of years has been unbelievable, where he actually has people in Iran filming things, gathering information, and getting it out to him. And he's broken stories that have affected things in Iran because people in Iran watch Channel 14. They watch Israeli media to see what they're saying about Israel, about Iran. And Dror Balazadeh is really one of the top people in Israel in terms of knowing what's going on the street. And here he quotes a source of his who says that there have been more and more defections in the lower levels of the IRGC. And Dror goes on to say that this doesn't have so much of an impact on shaking the foundations of the regime. The regime is still intact because it's such low-level people. But I'm not sure I agree with him because, first of all, that's the beginning of it. The moment, obviously, the people who have the most to gain by deserting, by defecting, are the people at the lowest levels. And And as it becomes more clear that the regime is falling, that should spread to higher and higher levels where it's a tougher and tougher decision to make to desert. So we can assume that that's the direction things would go. But also, it's those lower level people who are the enforcement mechanism for the regime. Without the foot soldiers to enforce the regime, they can't really have a regime. So this is the beginnings of it. It's the beginnings of the desertions and defections we were hoping to see. And then here's a video that's been going viral today. Open source intel put this up. An IRGC Basij member filmed himself leaving his post, saying he believes the Islamic regime is over, standing inside what he says is a Basij barracks that used to be a school. He explains that everyone there has already left. Everyone is gone or leaving. I'm going home too. It seems like the regime is finished and we should surrender. I just hope the people don't take revenge on us. That's this video here.
اینجا پادگان بسیجه که تا چند وقت پیش مدرسه بوده.
Yeah, so that's
از اینجا زدن بیرون
I don't
در
speak Persian, so I don't know what
منم میرم
he's
خونه. به
saying.
نظرم میرسه که کار رژیم تموم شده و باید تسلیم بشیم. فقط امیدوارم مردم ازمون انتقام نگیرن.
But again, and we don't know how verified that is, but it goes together with what we saw before. And here's something else that has been making the rounds on the internet. There was an IRGC launcher operator who was waving a white flag because the Israelis and Americans have been carrying out airstrikes against the rocket launchers. And here's an IRGC guy, and he is waving a white flag. There you go. An IRGC launcher operator surrendered just like this. They keep asking where the defections are, here, right here. And the hope is that this is not a unique event. And then we have this news story. This is a very interesting news story. It pulled together. This is a story from the Allgemeiner, which is a pretty mainstream Jewish media outlet. And it says here, nothing to save, defections, command breakdown, grip Iran's security forces as U.S.-Israel strikes pound regime. And listen to this. A taxi driver in Tehran this past week said he had picked up a commander from Iran's besieged parliamentary force who midway through the ride hurled his mobile phone out the window into the rubble of a bombed building. The officer explained that many of his comrades in the besieged, the paramilitary organization operating under the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, were doing the same, hoping the Iranian regime would assume they'd been killed. The anecdote was relayed to the Allgemeiner during a press briefing by Maneli Mirkhan, an Iranian strategist and founder of Dorna, an organization working on plans for a democratic transition in Iran. Similar stories abound in other reports from inside Iran. The French Le Monde newspaper recounted an incident in which a woman was caught by a neighbor, an intelligence services employee, while filming an airstrike. The man accused her of spying, and his wife called the police to report the infidel. The irony, nobody answered. A mundane scene, but one that reveals much, meaning nobody answered the phone call. Yeah. And then it talks about how there's more airstrikes going on. This Mirkhan, she described what she called moral fatigue among the regime forces, saying that in this environment, state propaganda has been one of the few things giving them a bit of energy. Okay. So we see that there's this going on, and to just stoke the flames of this, maybe signaling that the time has come where now we're moving into the stage of the war where we really need to see more of the uprising from the people. In the earlier stages of the war, it was really about decapitation, taking out the missile launchers, degrading the military, and then it went into degrading the IRGC, degrading the Basij, hitting the regime targets. And now, with the beginning of these defections, we have Prime Minister Netanyahu today saying the following: people of Iran, we are waging a historic war for liberty. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to remove the Ayatollah regime and gain your freedom. Together with the United States, we are hitting the tyrants of Tehran harder than ever. The Ayatollah is no more, and I know you don't want him replaced with another tyrant, so you must act. We are creating the conditions for you to do so. We have hit countless regime targets. We have taken out thousands of IRGC thugs and hundreds of their missile launchers. We are focused on regime targets and are doing our best not to harm the people of Iran. We are your ally, your best ally. We fully respect your sovereignty, culture, and heritage. You asked for help, and help has arrived. We will continue to hit with growing force the tyrants who terrorized you for decades. The Ayatollahs and their henchmen are on the run, but those cowards have nowhere to hide. In the coming days, we will create the conditions for you to grasp your destiny. In the coming days, we will create the conditions for you to grasp your destiny. Your dreams will become a reality, but when the time is right, and that time is fast approaching, we will pass the torch to you. Be ready to seize the moment. In other words, this isn't a call to go to the streets just yet, but it's getting them ready, getting them riled up. And if you think that messages like this from Prime Minister Netanyahu are not important, they are extremely important. They are read by the people of Iran. They spread like wildfire. When Netanyahu puts out these videos to the people of Iran, when he puts out these comments on X to the people of Iran, they go viral in Iran. And generally, these are also put out in Persian. So we see that this is the stage of the war that we are hopefully moving into. This whole issue of defections and desertions is critical. It is critical to the direction of the fall of the regime, of that possibility. If it accelerates, watch for the Saudis, the Gulf states, the Turks, to pressure really hard to bring the war to a rapid conclusion. I keep saying this. I keep reminding you. Remember, the Arab states do not want the regime to fall. They hate the Iranians. They hate the Ayatollahs. They're happy for them to be weak and battered. They don't want the regime to fall completely. So it's going to get really interesting. Hopefully, it's going to get really interesting really, really fast. All right, that's the update for now. A little shorter than usual. I hope you found that interesting. Please keep telling people about this channel. Please subscribing. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the content. Let me know what you think of the video, and tell people about this. Just if everyone watching this, just share it with one person who you think will find it valuable, find it interesting. The channel's grown amazingly in the few months that we've been doing this, and I'm very grateful to all of you for helping that. And let's keep praying for the people of Iran. God bless.